Well, more than half of Australians have less than $5,000 in their savings account, according to a recent report, with 35% of Australians struggling to achieve their savings goals. But Term Plus is an innovation term account platform aiming to help everyday Australians confidently put their savings to work. Dean Weinbrand from Term Plus joins me now. Good to have you with us, Dean, on The Wealthy. So tell us what Term Plus is about.
Sure, thanks Juliet. It's a term-based account management platform aiming to pay better returns on savings for Australian investors.
And how do you work with where the RBA cash rate is?
So we use the RBA cash rate to underpin our target rates. So if you have a look at our products, we have different lengths of term accounts based on different account holders' requirements. And our target rates use the RBA cash rate as a base, and then an added rate or a spread over and above that, depending on the length of the term for the rates that we provide.
So we just mentioned that a lot of Australians are struggling to save. It's been high cost of living, high interest rates. How are you helping everyday Australians confidently put their savings to work?
Absolutely. So from our perspective, for the money that Australians do have that's sitting in a bank, potentially doing nothing, we know that the value of money over time actually loses its purchasing power. Things like indexation and inflation and raising cost of living. So when you look at what do we do with that money in our accounts, there's a myriad of options. There's so many different investment options on the market. If you look at things like equity markets, obviously you can get great returns from the equity markets, but you can also get not so great returns, and there's a lot of volatility. So it really depends on what you're looking to do with your savings. For us, a term account, what we're aiming to do is provide a nice, stable monthly income off your savings with good reliability of capital and reliability of income as well.
So monthly income, and how do you see in terms of the length of an account? Is it a 1 year? Is it a 5 year?
So we've launched with 3 different terms. So a 1 year, a 2 year and a 5 year account.
Okay, let's talk about how you can see sort of different accounts and entities really move into this space.
Yeah, so the platform we've been building it for 2 years. So it's not this has been a long time in the making. We are a part of Pengana Capital Group, and so we look across our investor base at Pengana, and we also look at the general market. We've catered for a whole myriad of different type of account owners, from personal accounts, joint accounts, child accounts, companies, trusts and self-managed super funds, with Australian regulation and onboarding KYC, anti-money laundering regulations. For us to deliver an online platform for these term accounts, we had to build allowances for all of these different types of entities to onboard in a compliant legal way. So we've really built for the whole spectrum of potential users.
So you say you're backed by Pengana. What are the layers of protection for somebody listening interested in Term Plus but worried about potentially whether they're protected?
How long do we have? So I think there's 2 parts to it. There's the account-based built-in layers of protection, and that comes through a co-investment that we make as Pengana Term Plus into Term Plus. And so that means that 5% of the total balance of account holder money that's in Term Plus, we have a separate term account that we own and we hold, and that's capital that's sitting there and earning its own income. And we can talk about the underlying asset class and how we generate our returns and the security that's built into there. But over and above that, the way to think about the support account is it's a pool of capital and a pool of income that sits alongside our account holders to support their capital and income over the journey of their term.
How would you say that you can actually preserve the value of someone's investments?
Absolutely. So what we do and how we invest, Pengana Capital Group as the parent group of Term Plus has an unparalleled access in association with Mercer into the global private credit world. Private credit globally in the US and UK is very different to private credit in Australia. It's a completely different market. And these are bilaterally negotiated loans, contractual loans with really big companies. So when we talk about global private credit, we're talking about companies with earnings between 50 million to 250 million US dollars. So billion-dollar type companies in non-cyclical industries. So the income and capital in those loans is contractual in nature. It's got built-in security as well, and it's a very highly diversified portfolio. So our portfolio is put together with Mercer, who's a global investment leader. They're responsible for over $16 trillion in capital around the world. And so that high level of diversification, being in 2,000 different underlying loans, provides really good stability for our account holders, and it's all contractual. So all contractual, all has built-in security. And then over and above that, we have our support account as well. So if we look at global private credit as an asset class, it's the oldest asset class out there. It's lending, right? It's been around for ages. It's the fastest growing asset class over the last 15 years. And if we look over a 20-year period, the global private credit sector, and that's a period that includes the global financial crisis, that includes COVID, the average loss rate of the sector is about 1.38% in entirety. If we look at our underlying fund managers, so there's about 20 fund managers that sit in our portfolio, the average loss rate is about 0.2%. So that's the underlying asset class in global private credit, this highly diversified portfolio. And then over and above that, because we're building the product, we've put in that support account that provides an added layer of protection, or added layers of protection for our account holders.
So what sort of gap did you see in the market in order to want to create Term Plus?
So a lot of it comes from our global private credit capability. We had a seed investment from our largest shareholder in Pengana Capital Group, Washington Soul Patterson's, about a year and a half ago, and that was a $200 million seed investment to build out this global private credit portfolio. And for a number of reasons, global private credit just hasn't been largely accessible to Australian investors, high net worth investors, even institutional investors, and certainly not the man in the street. So we built out this global private credit capability alongside Mercer. We've launched a number of products off this global private credit master trust, which is effectively our private credit engine. So in June this year, we launched a $160 million listed vehicle called PCX, which is our listed global private credit vehicle. And having a look at our capability, having a look at the market, having a look at the needs of Australian investors, we started with a blank sheet of paper and we said, how do we deliver a term account experience that is unparalleled to anything out in market? And it all builds off our global private credit capability that we've built.
So you talked about the man on the street. Who can invest?
Our minimum investment amount is $2,000. Obviously, we have target market determinations and product disclosure statements and all the information you need available on our website, termplus.com.au. As I mentioned, we cater for all different types of accounts, self-managed super funds. We have a lot of retirees using the product because they're looking for better income from their savings. They've got monthly cost of living as well, all the way down to young investors who don't know the stock market. They're not looking at portfolio construction. They don't want to take risk in equities, and they just want to know that their money is working for them.
All right, Dean, thanks so much for joining us
Thank
on
you, Juliet.
Ausbiz.